You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is Locked On Phillies Postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's wonderful to have you along for a ride, especially if you sat through the 9 innings of baseball, the 9 innings of the Phillies being terrible. I'll go to break it. 8 innings of the Phillies being terrible. And, before the Brandon Marsh home run in the 9th inning, which was adorable. Because at that point in the game, you're saying to yourself, oh, you know what? Just don't get shut out tonight. Or, hey, Bryce Harper, hit a home run tonight. Make it an 11-1 game, that kind of thing, right? Give me at least that going forward. And, the Phillies gave me 3 runs there. But that's adorable, and that's cute. And I guess if you're going by inning, the Phillies they won the last inning they played against the Mets. So there's nothing. I'm sorry. There's just nothing. There's no warm and fuzzies after that atrocious game tonight. And there were indications in the early goings of this one that Aaron Nola just didn't have his good stuff. And I know he had 4 no-hit innings to start off the game. And isn't that just insane? Just like it's also insane the numbers he put up in the 5th inning. I'm sorry, the numbers he allowed in the 5th inning, how historically bad they are for Aaron Nola, who, let's not forget, has been pitching for a decade. Aaron Nola has been pitching for 10 years. This is his 10th season. Let's not forget, and maybe we were reminded of this earlier in the season when Cole Hamels got put on the Wall of Fame and all that. But Aaron Nola is the guy that started the day after Cole Hamels pitched his no-no at Wrigley. That's how long Aaron Nola, he was teammates with Cole Hamels, for crying out loud. So, yeah. To see him go out there in the 5th inning and give up 2 separate 3-run home runs, and he's never done that before in a game, let alone an inning. Shout out Todd Zalecki of MLB.com for pointing that one out. Oh, wow, that was a really bad inning to watch. And this was also the type of game that you watch with this Phillies offense, and you went, nope, they don't got it. Not today. They don't got it. It's one of, as I put in the thumbnail, it's one of the worst losses of the season. With or without the 3-run home run there in the bottom of the 9th inning, one of the worst losses of the season. We'll compare it to a couple other ones as the show goes on today, but this was just abysmal. Before I go any further, let me tell you right here at the Locked On Sports Philadelphia, and this particular episode is brought to you by Locked On Phillies Postcast. It's brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB, and win $50 instantly when you play just $5. And thank you for making Locked On Phillies Postcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's get into 3 big things. This is going to be really simple tonight, and I don't even want to do the thing where I just tip my cap to the opponent like Jose Quintana, who just did a great job against Phillies tonight. There's a couple of things that I noticed with the Phillies, that they hit the ball on the screws a couple of different times, and they were all line drives to first, line drives to dead center field. Like nothing was really breaking their way, unfortunately. Bryce Harper had a double in the early goings of the game, his 40th of the season. That's pretty impressive, but really nothing. Phillies couldn't get anything going. And when they did get something going with Johan Rojas getting on base, he gets thrown out over sliding second base, which nothing pisses me off more on the base. Like, guys will forget outs, and that's frustrating as all hell. But when you have a base stolen and you overslide the bag like Johan Rojas tonight, that's extremely frustrating to me. So there were some moments like that tonight that just made you bang your head against the wall, but also make you realize that the Phillies just didn't have it. But all in all, bad pitching plus no hitting equals a loss. And it usually means bad pitching, no hitting, excruciating loss. And that's what you got tonight. So Aaron Nola will start things off for me because that's really the focal point. And this was one of his worst starts of the year. 4 1/3 is what he ends up going after tonight. 6 runs. And as I mentioned, 2 separate 3-run home runs in the same inning. The Mets hit 3 3-run home runs in total. Max Lazar gave up the 3rd and final one. And I think since I started the show till now, they hit 3 more. That's what it feels like. But Aaron Nola tonight, you could tell, as I mentioned earlier, you had those moments where you just felt like he was laboring in the first 2 innings of this game. You see him go out there in the first 3 innings of the game, first 2 innings of the game tonight, and he gets the pitch count way up there. Way up there. In total, just through the first 2 innings of work tonight, he threw 43 pitches through the first 2 innings. That ain't good. And yeah, did he pitch himself out of some jams, out of having some trouble in that first inning, not being able to get that final out? He got Winker to ground out in the first inning, then gave out back-to-back walks to Nimmo and Alonso. Then Vientos goes up there and he grounds out the third, and he gets Lindor to strike out swinging. Still, bottom line, you're watching him go out there in that first inning, and how many pitches was it? 20? 23 and 26, in the first inning. Then 17 in the second inning. Settles in a little bit more there in the third inning with a 13-pitch inning. Then in the fourth inning, 7. And you think, all right, well, he hasn't allowed a hit. He's found his groove. Now we're set. Now we're good to go. Iglesias gets the first hit off him in the game. That came in the 5th. Taylor came up with a single as well, back-to-back hits. And then the crazy thing about the Alvarez 3-run home run is that it was a terrible pitch. It was a knuckle curveball that, hung up a little bit, but came down around inside corner, drastically inside corner, just above the shoelaces. And he just put the barrel of the bat on it enough, drove it down the left field line, and there it goes off the fair pole in left for a 3-run home run. And just before you blink, Phillies just like that. Not only is the no-no gone with the back-to-back singles, but he also surrenders 3 consecutive hits for the no-no to go bye-bye. Not that you thought Nola was going to get to that point with the pitch count that he was at, but still he had held them hitless up until that 5th inning. 3 straight hits, 3-run score on the 3-run home run. That's that. All right, so that's the home run, right? That's the like for those that look at Aaron Nola and just see a home run waiting to happen or a big inning waiting to happen. Oh, this game was your bread and butter, baby. This game was vintage Aaron Nola. For the start that you're terrified for him to have, this is that start. Where all of a sudden, oh, look, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6 runs. Just like that. And they were alluding to it on the broadcast tonight as well with Tom McCarthy and John Kruk, just talking about how Aaron Nola went out there. And those middle innings have been a real problem for him in his career. Well, continuing in the 5th inning, I digress. Gives up the 3-run home run. Then he gets Bader to strike out on 3 pitches. You're like, all right, yeah, that's it. That's all right. That was the big. He gave up the 3-run home run. Of course he did. All right, he's fine. Lindor single to left. Vientos goes up there again. He singles to center field. Brandon Nimmo steps up to the plate. He works a full count. Knuckle curve. This one hung out in the worst possible area. Above the knees, middle of the plate. Nimmo doesn't miss it. 3-run home run, 6-0, 27-pitch 5th inning for Aaron Nola. After 20 pitches combined in the last 2 innings, goes out there 27 pitches before he's taken out for Jose Ruiz, who comes in, and then he gives up a hit to Alonso, and then he strikes out Winker, and then he gets Iglesias as they bat it around to line out to shortstop to end it. But that was the unfortunate vintage Aaron Nola in the games that he does, in fact, have those blow-up innings. And one of the things he gets lucky on time and time again is these home runs often come as solo shots. Not often they come with guys on base. And in this particular inning, it was the worst possible scenario. 2 big home runs with a grand total of 4 runners already on base for a grand total of 6 runs scored in the inning. As things went on, Max Lazar, for the most part, pitched well. They got to him with that RBI double by Lindor. That weird play at second base where Lindor just didn't slide into the bag for whatever dumb reason, but still it was 7-0 at that point. So I guess he felt like he could take some liberties. But that pretty much closes the book on Nola after the 5th inning when he was taken out after only being able to get the 1 out on the 3-pitch strikeout to Bader. After that, I look at the offense. And yes, Jose Quintana, hat tip. He just had the Phillies number tonight. There were a number of instances, though, where I thought something special was going to happen here with the Phillies, because one of the things I do try to keep in mind, I know the Mets have been great as of late. I did the numbers for you in case you didn't see this. I did this earlier on my daily podcast. I did the Phillies since London and the Mets since London. The New York Mets since London are now 63-30. Excuse me. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's horrifying. All right. And then the Philadelphia Phillies are now 43 and 39 after tonight's game. That's not great. Let me check one thing here. I just want to make sure I give you the right number. I don't have a good sense of what I just did there. Let me just do something. 52, not 62. 53 now. 53 and 30. 53 and 30 since London. 53 and 30 since London. The Phillies are 43 and 39 now since London. Now, that's not to say that London is the reason the Phillies had that long falling apart moment. It certainly maybe was a hitch in their giddy up after such a great start, and the Mets needed a little bit of a change of momentum, or a change, not so much of momentum, but a change in routine, and maybe that jarred something right with them. I don't know. I don't believe in it either way, but if you're looking for the proof in the pudding, that's pretty astounding. That's a pretty astounding difference between the two ball clubs since they faced off in London in early June. But tonight, the Phillies bats, to get back to that, there were a couple instances in the early goings of the ball game. I mentioned the Bryce Harper double, his 40th of the season, hit the ball on the screws, was able to get to second base, obviously, so that was great to see, but then nothing doing after that. Nick Castellanos grounded out to third. In the second inning, JT Realmuto, great to have him back in the inning. He leads it off. He lines out to center field on a ball he hit on the screws, but Bader was right there to make the play. Wilson lines it out to left field. He hit the ball on the screws right at somebody. I mean, it's not a matter of luck. I mean, this is just keeping them off balance so they can't put the ball where they ain't, as they say. And the Phillies just couldn't get anything going offensively, as we know, until some luck was on their side with a Brandon Marsh, who came in the ninth inning, top of the ninth inning, to play right field, till Brandon Marsh was able to go up there and get the 3-run home run. But before that, 3 hits in 9 innings. That ain't going to do it. That's the second thing, Phillies offense. And number one is, did we really, after a day off, just get killed time and time again? Because that's certainly what it seems like with this Phillies team. And I feel like throughout the season, there's been these moments where the Phillies maybe feel themselves a little bit. Like, there's no mistake about it. You can't take this Mets team lightly. If I know what they're doing after the London trip, the Phillies know what they're doing after the London trip. Like, they're not a team to take lightly. The Braves are a team right now that's actually leading the Dodgers. Last I checked, it was 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning in Atlanta as they host the Dodgers for a 4-game series. There's nothing you could take lightly with still, 3 weeks left in the season? And this tough road you have ahead where you can't take the Mets lightly for 7 games. And you're sure it's now 6 games. And you can't take the Brewers lightly for 3 games out there. This is still a very rough stretch, including tonight, a very rough 10-game stretch for the Phillies. That, by the way, also includes a 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs, who I don't consider a big threat. But if you get the wrong pitching matchup, whoo-hoo. And if Aaron Nola, by the way, to go back to him, Aaron Nola last year had his worst month of the season in the month of September with an ERA north of 5 and 5 starts. You want to feel good about a baseball team, and we have recently, with the way the Phillies have been able to play recently, that the Phillies might be the hottest team in baseball going into October. And for a team that just looked god-awful in July and August for the most part, that's something that you were at least resting on. Like, okay, maybe they get it right in September and then they're the hottest team. I even put it out late in August. Maybe, you know what? This isn't the time to play your best baseball anyway. You want to be playing your best baseball at the end of the season, carry that momentum into the postseason. I said, that's a blind optimist right there. That's Paulie Pom-Poms. That's the most homer statement I could make at the time when they were just playing terrible baseball. But it was real. And there have been plenty of teams. The team that always jumps to mind is that St. Louis Cardinals team in 2011. Phillies set the record for most wins in franchise history. They let the Cardinals into the postseason, and the Cardinals wiped the floor with them. So you want to be playing that best baseball. If you have that opportunity to play your best baseball against another team that's in playoff contention, like the New York Mets, who also happen to be in your division, then you want to go out there and you want to win those games. This did not look like a Phillies team tonight that was ready to play baseball. And even though Aaron Nola struggled mightily, there was no help offensively. There was no pick-me-up moment, despite Kyle Schwarber being back in the lineup, despite JT Realmuto being back in the lineup. There was no indication from this lineup tonight that something was going to break through in order to help out their starting pitcher. Even when he had a no-hitter going through 4 innings. Nobody was there to pick him up. Nobody was certainly there to pick him up after the 5th inning either, or anybody on this pitching staff. Nobody was getting picked up. Except, you know who got picked up a little bit, even though he allowed a home run? Cody Clemens. That was about it. I did just see this, and when we get back, I will say maybe, just maybe, help is on the way. We'll be back in a second. You're Locked On Phillies postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Injury update when we come back. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Tonal. You guys like Tonal? Hope you guys are enjoying Tonal. Hopefully you guys have heard me talking about Tonal before. Phillies could use some Tonal. I'll tell you that much right now, because they could use a home workout system to help keep them in shape for the later stages of the season. For those who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. That's why you need Tonal, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most out of every rep. Tonal is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. How about that? Powered by AI. That's artificial intelligence, by the way. Tonal learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Tonal learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. They even create personalized program for you with workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's like having a personal trainer at home with you, as Tonal will optimize every workout just for you. Unlike traditional gym equipment, Tonal uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques from professional athletes to a mom of 3. Tonal is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest, thanks to Tonal and their own discipline. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with a promo code using promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB at Tonal.com. Use Locked On MLB for your promo code for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code Locked On MLB for $20 off. Thank you once again for making Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On Phillies postcast your first listen every day. As for your second listen, make sure you give a listen to our friend Paul Sully Sullivan. He's here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As for a little injury update here, I am seeing from Todd Zalecki of MLB.com that Alec Bohm, this is actually really good news, considering we did not get good news prior to tonight's game from Rob Thompson about Alec Bohm progressing, but he at least has progressed enough for him and Edmundo Sosa to go on a rehab assignment starting tomorrow and Sunday. Bohm could be activated on Monday in Milwaukee. So that's a good sign. As far as Edmundo Sosa, it doesn't say when he could come back. It just says Bohm could be activated on Monday in Milwaukee. Also, the Phillies are officially saying Colby Allard will get the start. He was the expected starter. ESPN already had him slotted in for that spot, but it looks like he will start tomorrow against Luis Severino. So that's the way that one works out. Every ounce of offense is exactly what the Phillies need. Consistent scoring. And I know I'm with a lot of other people that look at this and they say that this is the Phillies' biggest problem without home runs. And, oh, look, tonight, 3-run home run, they get 3 runs. But without the big hit, without the big home run, without the long ball, the Phillies' offense often falls stagnant. There's no better example of that than the Phillies in the playoffs last year. They're roaring, they're hitting home runs, they're getting guys on base, and they're getting the big hit. Then they go up against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and as we know, they failed to be able to do that at a consistent basis in that series. And the NLCS coming up a win shy of the World Series. But this Phillies team seems to be going through something eerily similar. Big bats need to be consistent bats. I know this was the first game back in 2 games for Kyle Schwarber. Well, 9 innings and 11 innings total. But he was back in the lineup tonight. JT Realmuto, his first game back in 6 games. Getting Alec Bohm back, hopefully with some fresh legs, Oftentimes, rehab assignments or rehab stints could be a little bit more taxing as you're trying to stay in shape and doing more conditioning, especially if it's a hand injury. We know as early as yesterday, we've seen Alec Boehm out there on the base pads running around trying to stay in shape and keep up that baseball shape, if you will. But when it comes to him going out there in the batter's box, whether or not he could swing a bat without pain or at least swing a bat and be comfortable and do that with a little bit of pop in the final couple weeks of the season, that is something that is sorely missed. I mean, look, you got Bryce Harper with his 40th home run. Alec Boehm, obviously, well past that. You get two guys up there that can put the ball in the gaps. I think that helps your offense a little bit. Also tonight, one of the biggest disappointments, I didn't even mention it, it really did. Nick Castellanos has obviously, and I've sung his praises over the last couple of months, and rightfully so, but on a night like tonight where he's going up against a left-handed pitcher, I expected a little bit more from Casty, and unfortunately, we just did not see that in tonight's ball game. In total, Nick Castellanos tonight, 0 for 3 in tonight's ball game. 0 for 3. Not great. When we come back, we'll take a look at your comments for this game, what you guys have to say about it, and what your thoughts are moving forward. 2 more games left against the Mets before you head out to Milwaukee, and then to Flushing, New York for 4 games against this same New York Mets team. Back in a few, you're Locked On Sports. Oh, this is one more thing I wanted to mention. This is not a complaint, at least not about the umpiring. But let's just acknowledge something for a second for both sides. Who was behind the plate tonight? I had it up here. Here it is. Lance Barrett. The strike zone was, I don't want to be dramatic, a mile wider than it normally is, and maybe a half mile longer than it normally is. And even with that, Aaron Nola couldn't use that to his advantage tonight. In the later stages of the game, I'm watching, and I'm just watching balls be called strikes that are well outside. And even JT Realmuto, who never says anything, struck out on 3 pitches at one point and turned around to Barrett and just went, yeah, no, that's not even, really? Really? It was the same for both sides. I will say that. Same for both sides. But when you're pitching and you see that those pitches are being called strikes, how are you not taking advantage of that? That makes me think that even more so his control was off more so than anything tonight with Aaron Nola, especially when it came to that knuckle curve hanging up there in so many different instances. He used it in the early goings of the game to get himself out of a couple jams, but really for the most part, it was something that was not consistent. He got Lindora for his first strikeout of the game, first batter of the game, sat him down on 4 pitches using the knuckle curve, and then he got Vientos to ground out the third on 2 pitches. He had 6 pitches, 2 outs. And then that's when the laboring began, unfortunately, for Aaron Nola. And those put-away pitches that he's so reliant on weren't putting anybody away tonight, unfortunately. All right. Now, when we come back, we'll take a look at what you guys have to say about this loss and where you see the Phillies heading after this. Do they regroup with Colby Allard on the mound tomorrow, or do they just get shelled again? Are we going to be looking at the later stages of this game with an 11-0 Mets lead? Talk about that when we return to Locked On Sports Philadelphia on your Locked On Phillies postcast. PrizePicks. PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 day player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so that your lineup and your lineups stay in play, even if one of your players gets injured. If a player in football, for instance, leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks, guess what? With PrizePicks, your picks are still live. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, they didn't tonight, unfortunately. Thanks, Aaron Nola. And thanks, Bryce Harper. I'm still going to go for you with more than no home runs on PrizePicks. I can get my money as quick as 15 minutes on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even have to win to get your 50 bonus bucks. So what are you waiting for, people? It's promo code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Again, don't even need to win to get your 50 bonus bucks. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game with PrizePicks. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We have something a little different for you when it comes to the great people of FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game just like that. All you need to do is have a Google account or a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. And you can take advantage of all they have to offer at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. Coming up for tomorrow, well, we'll get to that in 1 second. I want to see what you guys have to say about this a very unfortunate loss. I think you guys were chiming in early. Morgan, hello. I hate when Taryn Hatcher jinxed us by talking to a family member. Is that a normal thing when she talks to family? Do guys get shelled? Is that what's going on? How dare Buddy Kennedy's grandfather? His name is Don Money. How do you forget the name Don Money, Morgan? How dare Buddy Kennedy's grandfather wear a Phillies cap and a Washington Commanders polo? Bad juju from the start of that interview. She should have walked away from him on sight of that. That's great. He's from D.C. He's from D.C. Don Money's from D.C. You know what I mean? John Marinelli, I hope the Phillies spend another $100 million next season on a guy who used to be able to hit. That is funny. Morgan Landy referring to Don Money as Buddy Kennedy's grandpop is crazy. KGB officer, is it that crazy? Like, I think you got to be older to just know that's Don Money. Like, I want to know it's Don Money. Don Money was done playing baseball, I think, by the time I was alive. KGB officer, Farzi, I hope this loss pisses the Phillies off so they play with actual fight tomorrow, not just sulk. It's win now mode. And these Phillies seem like they don't care that much, and that scares me. Lackadaisical is certainly what it seemed like tonight. But then again, it's like easy to look lackadaisical. Well, I know even before the home runs. Harper's double, that was it. Oh, that was another thing. Jose Quintana's pitch count was insane tonight. 94 pitches through 7. Did he get through 7? He got through 7 tonight. He was absolutely insane tonight. Yeah, 7 innings, 94 pitches. That's really good. I think in the 3rd inning, he had 38 pitches, maybe, going into the 4th. Like, he was done. But normally, I look at that and I go, these guys are swinging too early in counts. And oftentimes that is the case. But tonight, it just seemed like, well, there's strikes. Like, do you want to take a 0-1 pitch that's down the middle just for the sake of revving up a pitch count, or do you want to try to get a hit? That's kind of the philosophy that I looked at tonight. Morgan, then maybe I'm mistaken. KGB, I could be wrong. Either way, the fact that she still interviewed him wearing a polo is disgraceful. All right. I'm so pissed off tonight. I hate the family of Buddy Kennedy, who has done nothing to ever wrong me. That's funny. I've been worried about this Mets series for a while now, says Graham Francis. Unfortunately, my concerns were realized today. 3 hits in the first 8 innings. 3 hits! Pretty terrible. MPTR, Phils will be lucky to go 4-6 over the next 10 games. Oh, no. Oh, no. I said 7-3. I said 7-3. Let's go. Not the case. Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn. Oh, man, what a train wreck. Why does it seem like when they get days off, it's like the offense goes back to crap? Ugh, I'm going to the game tomorrow. It's a 4:05 start time tomorrow, so at least we'll have our nights. Sure hope it's better than this performance tonight. Yep, I agree. Babs. What's up, Babs? Nola has had some clunkers this year. Grr. For the people on the podcast, Babs. Babs says Nola has had some clunkers this year. Grr with Grrrrrrr. I believe there's 6 R's there. There you go. Just so you guys get the full effect. All right. Christopher Michael, I feel like a lot of our losses aren't just losses. They get spanked and smashed all the time. Nola, 2 3-run bombs. Seems like he's falling apart. Wheeler is pretty much all we have. That's kind of how it feels, unfortunately. Michael Evans, hello. Is our pitching staff toast? Feel like Nola and Ranger are spent. We don't have a solid 5th starter. I feel like we're going into the postseason on fumes. That's kind of, I mean, after this loss, it feels like that. Oof. Timothy B. Oof. Oh, IBH. What's up, IBH? Flushed. Timothy B., your second best, in quotes, pitcher has a track record of coming up small more often than not. I hate to say it, but Aaron Nola has probably peaked. And from here on out, this is what he is. Bah, 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 bah. Chad Crawford. Wow, anyone else concerned about this team? Yes, I'm concerned. I certainly have my concerns. George, I'd be more... I don't know. Nice to see you. Frank, hello. There's a word for this game. Not one I could use on the air, but I think I get it. Anton, okay. Let's go Mets. Yeah, okay. Frank, you can't take the Mets lightly, and you can't take the Phillies team seriously. There's Babs again. Dom Money played it for the Phillies. Hit the first home run in Veterans Stadium. That's true. He was I think I said the other day, he was a 3-time All-Star with the Brewers. He's a 4-time All-Star with the Brewers. Miss Scoozy. Greg Rice. Great job, Phils. Thanks. 11-3 loss. I assume the Braves won today as well. The mayor of Philly may need to give them a motivational talk. Why do you want the mayor of Philly to... okay. Lentz. Nola's unreliable. Yep. Pretty much. George Lewis. Farzy, can Allard bring us the W tomorrow? Hell yeah. Farzy, these millennials actually think the Phillies won't win the division. Laugh out loud. Well, I'm technically a millennial. Yeah. I'm one of the bald ones. Anyway, I still think they're going to win the division. I'm not worried the Mets are going to take the division from the Phillies. I think the Phillies are going to win the division. It's not about the division anymore for me. It's about confidence in the Phillies winning a World Series. And obviously, coming into this series, I was feeling pretty good about that. And now I don't feel so good about that after a, 11-3 loss. Oof, Timothy B. Farzetta, in the second half of the season, we've gotten the real 2024 Phillies, and I really hate to say it, but they aren't doing it this year. Can Wheeler pitch every game? I hope so. In the playoffs, that's funny. 43 and, as I mentioned before, 43 and 39 now since London. Or the Mets are 53 and 30. That's great. Tomorrow, Colby Allard gets to start against Luis Severino. I'll be back with you guys after that game. 4:05 start time. Don't miss it. Hopefully, Phillies, they rally the troops or whatever, and then they're better tomorrow, right? All right. Anyway, that's enough of that. Phillies have a divisional lead over the Mets right now by 7 games. And for our later listeners on the podcast or viewers on YouTube, I do want to tell you that that game is probably final now. The Mets and the Braves and the Dodgers. Braves beat the Dodgers 6-2. So the Phillies, this actually helps the Phillies, who are, again, more in contention for the number 1 playoff seed. They're the best team in the National League and the best team in baseball overall. So that the Braves actually helped the Phillies tonight. The Mets, not so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great, as per usual. I will be back with you guys tomorrow after Colby Allard and Luis Severino take on each other tomorrow at Citizens Bank Park. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow night after the 4:05 start time. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye.